Don't tell me I need glasses.
Okay. Welcome, everyone.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Awesome. Again, thanks for coming. We're gonna kind of burn through the normal stuff today and again, get some good participation here early in the early parts. We'll make it fun. And then we got our special guests, our panels of agents that they're gonna be sharing their insights of 23 and what they're gonna be doing for 24. Let's start with every time. Make sure you get your cards over to Mr. Reynolds over here. He's keeping tally of everybody. If you haven't turned any in or you don't have any, just tell him, he'll write it down for you and put you in. We have some good giveaways. I know John Maxwell was a very hot item last week or last month. So I did buy another ticket for a giveaway. Anybody's anxious about that. So good luck to you. Let's go with gratitude. Let's get like 5. We got good food today. See, last one, it's Thanksgiving, holidays are coming up, year's over.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm really excited and grateful about the ALC. It's the group this year.
Yep.
I think we had a good time.
Very up New Jersey last week. Yeah.
So
It was a good time. I appreciate you guys coming out and yeah, Cherry Hill was no fun drive, but we made the best of it for sure. Two more?
I'm thankful for Jeremy Colley for doing that amazing that GPT.
If you don't know, James puts on a PC huddle every Monday. He tries to have guest speakers, good value. What do you usually average around 10 or so on Monday mornings at 9:30? It's open for everybody, of course. But Jeremy came in with that. We had 25 people, I think, on that. So it was great. It was well received. So thank you. Let's go a few more.
Grateful for Phil, wouldn't be here if it weren't for him, so grateful for him.
Be a Keller Williams. You don't mean
I wouldn't be a real. I wouldn't be a real agent if Phil never put up a status 6 years ago, and I'm coming up on my 6 years in the business, and yeah, I mean, my life has changed because of that Facebook status, so I'm grateful for him.
there you go.
Good job, Miss Selby.
Cape May, New Jersey.
Cape May, New Jersey. You're thankful for that big location.
My wife and I had a weekend away 2 weeks ago. 2 real estate calls and that's it. And we actually had a husband and wife weekend.
Good, because you're new grandparents now, so you're.
Yeah, it's been exciting and interesting.
Yeah.
All your wraparound thing.
Matt,
Grateful for Pottle brought me a great deal a couple weeks ago. to Help out his sellers that we just finished the renovation. Definitely gonna make some money.
good stuff.
Heck, yeah.
Good stuff. Any others? We don't have to stop at 5. Well, I'm grateful for all you guys. I mean, we had a great year this year for given the scenario of the market and what it's been doing. Our office meetings have been really well attended. I want to continue to bring value next year, so we're already planning out all of our guest speakers. If you have any topics or anybody that you really want to hear about next year, please let me know. I'm making a list. Obviously, we have 11 months to fill, but we can also always do like trainings and specific trainings around those topics. So please let me know if you guys have any ideas that'll help your business. We have a wide range of experience here. So some maybe the more veteran agents aren't gonna matter as much with maybe certain things, but then new agents want to hear from my panels. And if this panel is well received, we're gonna do those a lot more for sure. So please reach out to me, leadership team, whoever, we'll get that set up for going into 24. All right, we'll go into our belief system. We talked a lot about this last week, ALC, but let's lead it off. Let's just shout them out.
What are you gonna do? Integrity, do the right thing.
Customers always come first.
Commitment in all things.
Communication, seek first to understand.
Creativity, ideas before results.
Teamwork, together, everyone achieves more.
Trust starts with honesty.
Equity, opportunities for all.
Success results through.
Hey, I mean, something changes in the last 30 days and one of these have to show up for you in your life, whether it's business, personal. Is there any one particular part of the belief system that really speaks to you this past few weeks? That I think was something that involved your business or personal? Anybody?
Trust.
Also,
I had kind of a bad situation with the seller and buyer. And I felt it was going bad, but they turned around and they just used the word trust towards me
that's a good way, or saying you
in
did?
a good way.
Okay, good.
Like, I trust you,
Yeah,
you know, even though it wasn't the best situation, they specifically said.
absolutely. It starts there to build strong relationships, especially with your clients and everybody in your life. So trust is a good one. All right, so we always go over the state of the company. This is just kind of giving you guys an idea of how we're progressing throughout the year. I always like to take the month, what we did, and then obviously year to date, how we're doing. Overall, I mean, again, it's no secret, we're 30% down in pretty much all categories for the most part. I think the two areas that we actually are up or almost break even is listings sold volume, because obviously when you're in a competing market, we were getting a lot of those raised prices, inflation of listings. So that did go up and pretty much balance out, even though that our units are down. And then average sales price, that's a result of that exact same thing. So those were kind of the two categories that are still pretty close, but the average overall is about 30%. It's been consistent year or month after month this year. And I'm not sure what's going to happen. I mean, we don't know, but we're going to bring in more trainings, because now, I mean, if you're not using a lot of your time to use buyers and sellers, our trainings have to come back to you guys on how to do that, build best practices, time blocking, and staying disciplined with it. So leverage what we're going to bring to you in 2024 with the time that's going to be provided to you. If you don't, and I hate to say this, I don't want to see anybody have to go get another job, a 9-to-5 job. You guys all worked really, really hard to get to where you're at today, to be a realtor. No one wants to go take that test again. So just embrace it. We're going to hear from some people that have went through that 05 to 07 timeframe and then survived the 08 crash, which that's when I started of all times. And how we succeeded through that. And it's just going to take some hard work. And I know it was very easy the last couple of years for the most part. But it's going to get a little bit tougher. And that just means we have to work a little bit harder. Any questions on the numbers? Good. James, I'm going to let you share this. This is your slides. You have a couple of things to be proud of with that. And we're going to start with Kristen.
Yeah, we're gonna start with Kristen. Been in the business for what, 3 weeks? 3
Yeah.
weeks. Got a buyer under contract for 88,000
Cash deals.
cash deal.
And
And then literally last night, just got another deal on the contract for 250. Had to put the deal together in less than probably an hour. So we're working together doing that. And she just texted me a little bit ago, the people who bought the $88,000 cash, his sister now wants to buy a house. So she's 3 weeks in and she's crushing it.
yeah, that's pretty awesome story. I mean, obviously we would all love to have that.
Yeah.
But she did it because she worked hard over the last 3 weeks, right? So these weren't just handed out to her. These were things that she generated. And by doing so, what, 400,000 and under contract, and then potentially more.
Yeah.
And then we got one more.
You got
He's in the crowd.
Yeah. The Jim sold his first listing for 305. Actually, it was an in-house deal with Lori.
Oh, nice. Very nice. I love those, by the way. Your KW rate, our numbers go up.
So yeah, so we got we got Jim here, so he made the board for this month and.
Everyone?
Nope, that was it. So, yeah. So the next thing I wanted to talk about real quick is,
Yeah.
um,
You're 9 minutes in, man, you gotta get.
all right, I'm gonna try this. I'm James Reynolds and I am bold. So one thing that Brian and I was talking about at the ALT was doing, having some growth this year. We've been kind of stuck at around,
Yeah, we've been like treading water like 185.
and so we really want to make a big push for getting this, our growth, above 200. Ryan, I think even said he was going to do a party for us if we get above 200.
If we do a party.
So, so one way that we can do that is by bringing new to business agents in. So the past couple of weeks, I've been revamping our K-score program. Does everybody know what K-score is? Does anybody not know what K-score is? All right, so our K-score program, you know, we put a lot of people in a month. And after going to the masterminds, I found out that the average K-score person, or the amount of people that join our company, if we put K-score in, is only 2%. So it's not good at all. So I've been revamping the program to get it up. And I went to a masterminds a couple of weeks ago, and they were showing us how we can get that up to 10%. So in the next coming weeks, I'm going to be making a push for you guys, if you have anybody that's looking to start a business or start a career in real estate, we're going to be handing out these cards. I'm having these business cards made that if you ever come across somebody that's like, hey, I'm looking for something, or they're like, hey, how do you do what you do? All you have to do is give them this business card with your name with the sponsor. It's going to take them to a website. They fill it out. And then from there, I'll contact them, get them into K-score, and then also get them into KW prep, which I don't know if anybody who went through K-score actually did KW prep, but it's kind of new to our company. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're revamping the program, and we've already put some people in, and they're really excited about it. And you know, K-score, they don't have to join Keller Williams, but the whole point of the KW prep side is that it gets them, I guess, Kellerized. So that way, when they come out, they're not wanting to join Berkshire or Coldwell Banker, but they want to join us. And again, everyone wants to grow their profit share, right? So that's how this is a very good way of doing this. Okay. So again, you'll be seeing some links coming out on Facebook page. And then once I have these business cards made, I'll probably put some in your mailbox. Or if you ever just come to my office, just grab some. Okay.
Is there like a link instead of a card?
Yes, there'll be a link. There'll be a link that'll be sent out to everybody that they can use, and it just goes to a Google form that they'll fill out with their information, and it'll get sent right to me.
I make sure they just put our name on it.
Yeah, there's a space at the bottom of it that'll say, you know, who to about this. And then so all that'll come to me, and then we'll get them to.
Why don't you email out the QR code and we can.
Yeah, I'll do all of that. Yeah, I'll email out the QR code, but again, the business cards are more for when you're out and about, and that way, you know, and again, some people are like, hey, I'd rather just put them in myself. Well, sign them up into the system as long as they know they're getting signed up into. So.
Now, are you taking them to like start the classes and stuff? 'Cause that's usually where most people ask me about, is like how to start classes. And I usually.
Yeah, that's what I do. So
Okay.
I'll talk to them.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'll talk to them about how to start classes and what needs to be done for that. Okay.
This is awesome because this will really change everything. I mean,
Yeah.
been working with this since it started and this is a huge improvement. So thank you.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, the whole point is to grow your businesses and to grow our company.
And like, look at ourselves as a company, and I was just preaching to you guys about use your time wisely now and work, and we got to look at our systems and make sure that they're running efficiently, and James is doing a really great job at, like, K-score is an awesome tool. It's an awesome product to put out there. What other companies providing free real estate? None that I know of. It's a scholarship, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, it's a scholarship, it's not free.
You guys start using that term, but, so anyway, but what other companies doing? There isn't one, and it's a $400 and some savings. And now he's gonna create more accountability around it for himself and for them, because that's the hardest part for us, was that we were sending them in and hoping that they were gonna do everything and then tell us when they're done. And that's why that 2% rate was coming back. And now people are starting to break it down because we have the data. And it's like, what do we have to do to make it higher? And some companies are starting to create that process and getting 10% results. So that's what he's implementing.
Accountability while they're doing online classes. So I've had a few people start them and they fall off.
It's
Yeah.
tough, but I think that's a good test to like, how are you gonna show up as a real
Yeah.
estate agent? If you're not gonna even go do a free product, then what are you gonna do when you're in here? It's that's kind of like, we want to make sure that we're getting the right people in, but accountability is always good for.
I wanted to ask, where are you guys usually seeing where they hit the wall? Do they, follow the link and sign up? It's the sign up.
Yeah, I mean, so I get a lot of people, like Bob has sent me a couple people and like never heard from them. And he just called me back. He just texted me yesterday saying, oh, hey, they're willing to do it again. So again, the whole point is that if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. And those are the people we're looking for. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna work with them because, they had their chance. But again, we're trying to create a system so that way they're more likely to come out.
I think it's more about finding who's serious. We all have 10 friends who we that
Oh, yeah.
do real estate.
Yeah, but again, we're not discounting anybody. We're just trying to get as many people in and as many people out. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Just being part of that 2% that went through it, that made it through it. It would be nice to have a go-to person.
Yeah, and
That has experience with the course or understand. It's, if you're not used to online learning, which being a teacher, I was not used to online learning, used to providing it. It was definitely different.
yeah,
I got 450 pages of notes.
I mean, 16 years ago when I started, I didn't do it online. I did it in class. Yeah, so
And I honestly,
What's happening, man?
Hey Tate, how are you?
I'm doing good. How can I help you?
Good, I'm happy to hear that. Hey, just calling because Gabrielle mentioned this radon fan thing, and I just wanted to get two hands on the steering wheel with it. She's looking to, I guess, have that look into what an estimate would cost to repair that. Now, my questions to you are, what is actually
Is there another option, or is it only online?
it's only online.
It's only online.
Yeah,
And like you were saying, like people like, well, that's probably better for a team then, like, I do better on the team, because I need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
So
when you
I wouldn't
join-
dismiss somebody, like, I think they just need a taste before they really start taking off.
When you join the company, you either have the choice of joining a team or joining the PC program. That's how we're trying to run it. So we're, if they want to join a team, they can join a team. I've got people that came in, I think Bill and I were talking to, that are looking at joining the team.
Our requirement for new agents is either join a team or join PC. Simply because the failure rate's 80% in your first year. So how do we curb that is accountability and mentorship and leadership. So we have to do it, or we're gonna see a lot of attrition throughout the year. January is always that time of the year when people start questioning if that $600 is worth it. And if they weren't in production because they didn't have that coaching, they're probably gonna say no to that and put it in escrow. Or we're embracing ourselves here. And if you have any questions, I mean, he's here. Talk to him afterwards. We're gonna keep giving you updates on this as we evolve it. November birthdays. Happy birthday to everybody. We got Jordan. I think he's the only one in this group here. So Jordan, you're coming in a couple days. Happy birthday to you. Is it the 3-0? Oh, man. That one tore me up a little bit. Anniversary, happy anniversary. Got out in the crowd. Maria Maria, happy anniversary, work anniversary, with Keller Williams. Welcome to KW. We have two people, this in the last couple weeks. Savannah joined Colby and Neil's team. Tim Barley joined Liz's team. We have like probably what, 8 in pipeline right now. Over this, everyone's kind of figuring out their transitions, but we should have more to celebrate next month. Top producers, individuals, we had Lane, Kate in the back, got board again. Tim, Petula, Nate Johnston. I do want to give a shout out because it was very close on fifth. We had Deb Steckler at 646, Matt Miranda at 642. I haven't seen Matt in a while. He's been busy with like 2 other jobs, but he's still cranking out real estate. And then Jess up front here at 620. So we had a lot right there. It was real tight. It's crazy to watch how the market changes because like last month you had to do 1 million just to be in the top 7 actually. And now this month it's changed a little bit. Again, we're going into that holiday season, so everyone's getting that last push. And then teams, Liz takes top spot again, Colby and Neil, the Carter team comes up in 3rd, Dave Monsoor group. And Jeff Selby and Seth Turn team round out the top 5. And then units, same order for individuals. And teams, the only new person was West Strike Group out of Chambersburg. So round of applause for them. Two units, I think. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. There was quite a few. So as you see, Jess had 2. These are all tied for 5. The tiebreaker is volume. That's how I base that. So while there was about 6 at 2, Nate Johnson had the most, so at 2. Ashley's here, and she was our previous winner last month. Abby, Deb Steckler, Joe Mancuso, still cranking out some deals. I saw him yesterday. So congratulations to you guys. Events, we start winding down now. Obviously our office is closed on Thanksgiving. I gotta check. I don't know if we're closed on Friday or not. We'll get that out just in case. Do you guys have settlements on that Friday? Anybody?
Try not to.
Yeah, I know. So try to get that nice 4-day weekend. Again, we have Wealth Building Wednesday every week. A couple KWRI type of stuff. World of Tech. We have our ALC meeting. I mean, we're already talking about next year. And John Maxwell is the biggest event coming up in the next few months, which is on the 25th.
Hey, Ryan, real quick.
Yes.
I know people have been coming to the PC night out, and we do those once a month. We're not doing one in December. Because it's gonna be it would be the same week as the Christmas party, and we just figured we're giving everybody a break.
Yeah.
Our next one, and we're gonna be changing it to the following week is January, because we don't want to do it right up the new year.
Yeah.
People are going stuff. So
The
second week.
This is when we're gonna talk about all the chaos of the parties that are gonna happen. It's that time of the year. So the first one, well, we're kind of out of order, but the Hanover office, I don't know if Dave, you can talk about it if you want, but they're having one on December 14th from 11 to 1 at the new Hanover office. They moved in over, has it been a year?
We moved in, yeah.
Earlier this year, yeah, so in a year. Anything you want to add on that one? Just
No, it
Wait,
was just,
you're
I know that it's not just KW agents that are invited. I know that, Lori invited some agents from other companies too, so just chance to get together and chat a little bit and keep those other outside relationships intact.
food, drinks,
I think it says food and drinks on there.
yeah, like
I
Mission
have no idea
Barbecue,
I have no idea what the food and drinks are.
Chipotle, Chick-fil-A.
Chipotle.
We'll get all, I think some calendar invites have gone out. You're gonna get some calendar invites doing a lot of stuff going on. So just bear with us, but then it's all good stuff that we're gonna be doing as a company. And again, we're trying to build culture, get you guys together, have a good time. And put on a good show. So John Maxwell coming up, mark this on your calendars. I did see, I think there was only like 300 tickets left, because I did get one for a giveaway. So it is limited seating. I think they're limiting it to 900, so 600 is already sold out, and that's gonna be a great event. We have Vegas coming up. Early bird special is over. I don't think they extended it. But if you have any interest of going to Vegas,
And I just checked flights, you can get flights to and back for under $400. Southwest.
or you could drive, I mean, you could do that too.
Just sell another house.
Yeah.
The
We
Vegas,
were gonna just sell it in a house, quick with your Vegas funds.
Vegas flights are good.
I don't know how, so we are gonna start pushing on that. If you guys do decide to go, we're gonna need to know, we always do an office event there. And we're gonna have to know head counts. We're gonna probably do a show, not like a dinner, but a show. We get into the sphere. I don't wanna go into that. So we're gonna try to figure that out. So I'll probably, in the next month, we're gonna be pushing for a solid head count. If you are contemplating going, please start to consider that and let us know. Is there anything other than fair housing for Reed or Tina?
Start your continuing ed,
Oh, yeah.
while you're not as super busy right now, now's the time to do it. You can get a smart pass through Maria, and I think it's, I don't know.
120.
Yeah, 125, and take all the classes you want. And
Make sure to do the required one.
yeah, make sure. Yeah, triple plays coming up.
Do them all there.
Yeah, you can do them all there for $89, I think. First week of December.
It's right before the holiday.
Yeah.
Holiday party.
You have to like wake up early and take classes apparently. I struggle with.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'll do it. Start running full invites this week because we're only 3 weeks away. And I need to know, head count is very, very important. Year after year, I get a head count and like 20 people don't show up and we pay for 20 people for food and drinks. And that not only hurts you guys, but it hurts the company as well, because it's a profit thing. So, please, if you are yes, and you change something, I know we're going into flu season and, if something comes up, just please change it out. But it is on Friday, the 8th, we're gonna run 5:30 to 9:30 is what they're gonna have it open. So obviously we'll have dinner, drinks, giveaways. We're thinking of some different entertainment activities. We're trying to put all that together. I do need a DJ, so if anybody knows a DJ, please let me know. Cause I know what's on that. I don't think the rest of the guys. I told you.
She should DJ.
I think she probably struggled.
Party and. There's a guy named Bill. It's really good. Maybe after and we'll do it, but, the other guy, so yeah, we'll start, cause I know a lot of it booked up right now. And then, of course, if you need a room, cause some of you guys aren't here, please get a room. They have obviously open rooms right now, and then, like last year, now we'll be downtown, I can see us, a bunch of us going downtown, and, we'll see what happens then.
What time does it start?
5:30.
5:30, that's like official.
You wanna announce your little thing? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so I'm gonna put a link in the KW page, but like, it's not crazy or anything. I'm throwing a little pregame at my house. But I live literally 2 blocks from the Yorktown.
Oh.
Don't fuck up now.
Invited. I mean, I don't expect y'all to come, but
This will be one thing that gets thrown, and everybody goes, "Hey, let's pack this house up." It's shoulder to shoulder there.
There's gonna be a bartender, right?
yeah.
There's shrimp cocktail.
Not gonna be a lot of food. You know,
Rockfish catering, is that what? So that was about, hometown real estate, so who uses hometown? Raise your hand. Holy crap, we're getting a lot of people now. Amanda's sitting over here, Brooke obviously, is in our Gettysburg and Shannon. Anybody want to give Amanda a testimonial while she's sitting here? Go
I
ahead.
will, yeah, I mean, so I was pretty much exclusive with White Rose. I used them for literally everything. Milton was my boy. But you know, I I did switch over to Amanda and I was a little, a little bit hesitant to do it because I built such a good relationship with White Rose, but with her being here, I mean, there's times I'll have a 10 a.m. settlement. I'll walk in there at 10 a.m. and she's like, yeah, we're done. And then and I'm like, what do you mean we're done? And she's like, yeah, we're already done. So I'm like, okay, so I take my pictures and then that night I get paid. So like, it's been great.
If you
And
do paper check, still old school, you get it. Gotta be, you have all your docs in and
yeah.
disclaimer, but then.
Yeah, I mean, and what the biggest thing I was worried about is like reaching out after hours. Is she going to get back to me? Because Milton would always respond. So I've texted you at 10:30 at night while I'm working something out. I'll shoot her a text real quick and like if she responds, cool. If not, she'll see it and get back to me in the morning, but she responds. So like, yeah, so she's been great and I don't see myself using White Rose anymore, so.
I have one. So I don't know if anybody else feels like there's so many angry title people. Amanda is not, and she's so good, client facing, professional. It's just. It's a
I Every time I see her,
I love it.
anybody else?
I'm gonna use her for a post on next work deal. Be prepared. This hand be itching.
Mr. Harkins. Something good.
There was some CPI data that came out and rates, I think they went down close to a half. And everybody's kind of saying, oh, we think it's gonna continue, we think it's gonna continue. So that'll hopefully help. I would be careful to broadcast it on social media, because literally I've seen people terminate to get a lower rate before. Okay, so just like, be cautious with that. Like, especially if you're the buyers on the fence, negotiating inspections, it just gives more fuel to the fire.
Should people be floating their rate a little bit, not locking? I mean, what do you suggest?
I think it's kind of long. That's a question that I would say the answer is different based on the deal. You got somebody that's like nervous Nelly, you're gonna be fielding those calls too. Do you know what I mean? So like, maybe not, but if I got somebody that's building, I'm probably floating. Do you know what I mean?
Long time horizon.
Yeah, but stuff that's 30, 60, we're probably locking,
Okay, curious.
I think it's like most of your lenders will have a float down policy to where like if market improves greatly, like they can tether it down.
What's greatly, like what would it have to?
So like ours, I'll give you a rundown on it. So let's say rates improve by a half, right? They're gonna take an 8 higher than the new rate. So let's say we're at 8, they go to 7.5, they would get 7.625, but then they have to pay a half to get it. To exercise the float down, and it can only happen from 5 to 10 days, or no, 5 to 15 days before closing.
So they pay half a point, but they're not getting a half a point?
Half a point in cost, price.
Okay.
So it depends, like the price improvement could be, like, let's say if rates move a point, they could go from 8 to 7, you know what I mean? Like, it just depends on the market. Does that make sense? We talk about the cost is to be able to execute it. To be able to take advantage of it. Sometimes people like want to do it, makes sense, but I gotta be honest with you, like, to see a point movement in 30 days is not real. It's probably just not gonna happen.
When you said like if it was 8 to 7, then you would get 7.65.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, if the current market that they locked in, it's at 8, and let's say market now is 7.5, they get an 8 higher than the current market, plus they gotta pay money to execute the float.
Would that probably be made up for in less than a year under most circumstances?
And honestly, like, I think you still like have this conversation right now of like, well, where are rates going? And if rates are coming down, like, maybe they won't want to do it because they're still gonna refi. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just, I think it's for those people who have like a lot of anxiety about the payment, I think everybody's different. I think the one thing that I've realized is like, I've spent a lot more time like on those calls, nurturing people, like talking to them through payment options, buy down options. You know, where the market's headed, where it is, like, it's different for everyone. You know what I mean? I had literally people pay to do their own buy down because the wife was afraid the husband was gonna spend the money. Okay, like.
That's fair.
You can't. Totally. First house, so, I want to take a dive into something that probably not a lot of people know about. It's something that our company recently rolled out. And I'm just gonna preface this with, if you have someone for this, I will not be helping them. Okay, this works through a special department. So there's a product out there that exists, it's called reverse mortgage. Some people have heard of it, some people haven't. With rates being what they are right now, it's keeping a lot of people in their homes because everybody, especially senior citizens, will think about mortgages in like the very traditional, you know, thought process. They'll think about it like, okay, well, I don't want to buy at a high rate. I don't want to take 7.5, I might have 3. I don't want to sell my house. So most people don't know this, but you can do a reverse mortgage purchase. And I will tell you, the one thing that you got to be very careful at like conveying information to people about this, talking to them about this, because you don't want to piss off their sons, their daughters, future potential referrals for you. And you have to make sure that they fully understand the product, okay? But I'll give you a couple of examples where like maybe something like this can help you help you get someone out of a home and into a home. I had a client of Kristen Ziegler's. Long story short, they were like in some big, beautiful, like elaborate house. It's just 2 of them, right? Like they want to downsize. There's a lot of maintenance in the house. They have all kinds of equity in it, and they're just dragging their feet. They're dragging their feet. They're dragging their feet. They're not finding what they want to find. But what they didn't realize they could do was they could get out of that house, take the money that they have, put it down on a new house, right? They still had a mortgage on the old one. They would still have a mortgage on the new one, but it wouldn't be at an astronomical rate because they're purchasing with a reverse. So literally they're putting all this money down. They just buy the house and don't have a payment. So a reverse mortgage, the amortization of it, it's based on death benefit. Okay, so think about it like this, right? If you're 85 years old, they look at the analytics based on when you're likely to pass away. Okay, so they make the mortgage to somebody, and somebody who's 85 is going to have an easier time of getting one of these than somebody who's 65. Okay, because that 85-year-old is probably going to pass away sooner. So that person, they may be able to get into a reverse mortgage with only 30 or 40% down, okay? Where the person who's 62 years old may have to plop 70% down. But the premise behind these is then somebody doesn't have a payment, you know what I mean? So it's an underserved market right now. There's not a lot of people doing this. It's not I think the parts that you have to be very, very, very careful with is when you go to talk to somebody about a reverse mortgage, you got to make sure that their son or daughter don't want to be in that home. Like they don't want to live in that home at some point. Walking away with the proceeds is a different conversation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if all they're going to do is turn around and sell that home anyway, then maybe mom and dad use less of their retirement assets, right? And they just didn't then have a mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe mom and dad had the ability to live a little bit freer because they didn't have a mortgage. So it's one of those things you kind of got to understand the product. If anybody has interest in it, I can get you on a webinar with our reverse mortgage specialist. We have a group that specializes in it. There'll be webinars for your clients. It's something that like light bulb went off in my head as I'm starting to look at like some of the people I had and like, it's a big underserved community. It's not right for everyone, but I think like the one thing you have to impress is like people they have to understand things before they can kind of rule it out. The one client that I was talking to most recently about it, they thought if the wife died, they would take the house. It's just, it doesn't happen. They basically, when you go into the mortgage, if there's 2 people on it, you know, until both of them pass away, they stay in. So, you know, I think one thing I've realized doing loan applications over the years, there's a ton of people who like, they spend every cent they make, they don't have a lot. So there's probably a good bit of people that, you know, we all have or have contacts that like probably could benefit from something like it. So if you guys have something you want to bring to me or ask me about it, I can just kind of give you my 2 cents on how to approach it. But I'm gonna pass you off, just so you know, okay? But it's something that may help you sell a couple more houses this year.
Awful.
Got any questions about
I
it?
think it's awful, and I don't think people understand exactly like what it is. Cause like basically what you're doing, if you're taking away anything you're leaving behind. So if you have $100,000 equity that you use as a reverse mortgage.
Yep.
And you plan on leaving anything to your kids, they have to understand that they're taking that away.
Correct.
Cause I bought my house with a reverse.
100%.
So it has to really be understood. So like, if somebody's like old and they don't have any kids,
Yep.
and they don't have like, it could be great for them.
Or you have a parent that all they've done throughout their time period is give money to their children
Right.
to help them along.
Right.
Because, maybe they had children early.
Or maybe your kids are assholes, which is fine.
Correct, but I'm saying you can't look at it like every situation is gonna be a touch different.
Right.
And that's where I'm saying, like, you've got to kind of be like, okay, like, let me rule this out as something for somebody.
I don't know that situation. I saw that it turned a lot of people ugly.
Yeah. And I think it's different for everybody. The people that I was talking to, I said, make sure that your kids don't want to own the home. Like, make sure, like,
The problem was they will like try on old people. And they're confused and they don't understand.
I
And
think it's
they
an
get locked into this and then they pass and the kids are like, what the?
I think
And if both spouses aren't originally on the title and on the deed, and, the husband passes and the wife, being super traditional
Yep.
back then was never on it, then she is SOL.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
They
then-
both have to be on.
Yeah, and that's not something that a lot of that older generation did, because she was a homemaker, she didn't have any credit, so everything was in his name. And then the realtor who comes in has to deal with a nightmare of a situation, because, they're gonna have $200,000-300,000 lien, on that property. So once you sell it, you're gonna be up against a lot of
Yeah, well,
unhappy
and I think like when you have the ability to stuff, like this is where, like, again, it goes back to that conversation. It's not right for everyone. Period.
I just
It's not-
wanted to make sure like new people
Right.
really understood
Yeah.
what you were saying.
Yeah.
It's not right. for
Trust Thompson.
But I think like, as you come across scenarios, like, I always talk about it and I'm like, you gotta look at every scenario, because some people like, they're cash offering their house to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? And like, they have all the equity in the world, like people, do stupid things. And that's what I'm saying, like, as that person, you've got to look at it, not me, you've got to look at it and think through it. If you're not sure, ask around, ask other people that are in this office. Like, I've seen tons of scenarios where it makes sense, but I agree, there's definitely been some ones that are like a little sideways, and you have to like kind of understand the product. So. Just think.
Not to take away, I just wanna, I
Yeah.
feel like people really you really said how ugly it can be.
It's a real thing.
Really? Well, they corrected a lot of the provisions, because there was tons of lawsuits for it.
But, like, as you're like settling in a state, sometimes I can take months, and every month it just keeps going up and it just keeps
Yep.
going up, and then work with the bank to get the payoffs. Like, that's how I bought my house. It was.
Like
pretty
a
awful.
reverse short sale.
It wasn't a short sale, but we had to continue every month. It kept going up. And then, people that want paid out for the proceeds, they get uglier and uglier.
Well, I think everybody's like dealt with it, but like, I think like, what I'm talking about is specifically people who have like, like major struggles, Like, I think that's the ones you have to kind of look at and say like, ooh, is there a way to keep them in here? Like, I come across people all the time who like, like, they're only receiving Social Security. You know what I mean? And they have a mortgage, and it's like, they have tons of equity. And like, I don't, it's like, there's a line in there where some people, it may be something you want to look
And then
at.
like, it depends on where the market is too.
Yep.
So sometimes you take out more than what it's worth by the time it's time to sell.
Well, that it accrues, the balance goes up. Everybody has to understand that. It's a reverse mortgage, the balance goes up. Because they're not making the payment, so the interest is just accruing.
There's an ask for every season.
Correct. Yes.
I just wanted to say that I also know some people that it saved their lives.
Yeah.
They were able to stay in their homes. And their kids didn't benefit from it, but they have worked all their lives to try to maintain this, property.
Where, to your point, where it goes sideways. It's like,
It's all an education.
yeah, I mean, there's a certain amount of ethics that I think like, You know, I'll never forget this scenario. I had one of the first people I started real estate. This goes back some years, and I'm gonna end on this story. The wife, she married young. Husband was 70, she was 44, okay? Extremely huge age discrepancy. Begged me to help her out with this, give her direction on a place to go. They begged me, like, they were having financial problems. I made sure she understood every piece of it, right? Don't care, went and did the mortgage anyway. Years later, I need to get out of it. She had to refi, pay the balance, but she knew, you know what I mean? Like, I think where it goes sideways is when people aren't educated, you know, they got it out, so.
Or they start to dement and then they don't remember that they used to know.
Yeah,
And then the family's like,
what have you done here?
I married that old with no money. I don't understand.
Yeah, I forgot to do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So as of Saturday, you will no longer get spammed on the Keller Williams Keystone group. So you guys know I'm Jeff Selby. My son Kevin, to be 2.5 years ago to the day, was diagnosed with glioblastoma brain tumor. Which, if anybody knows brain tumors, that's a death sentence. He's doing great. He's got a little baby. She's got me wrapped around her finger in 4 weeks. We're having an event at the public house, at the markets in Hanover, where I'm actually paying for Emily's Toy Box, which a lot of people know, to play. We're doing a $5 cover charge. We have 164 people reserved for dinner so far. I have a QR code, and what I'm doing is it's a celebration of Kevin's fighting, and not everybody's as lucky as he is. I mean, he had this thing removed and he has no ill side effects at all.
wow.
And a lot of people didn't have to. And it's just, you know, being a parent and hearing your son's gonna maybe die before you and die of bad, I mean, it's nasty. I just want to celebrate where he's at and then help other people, and I'm having this every 6 months until I can't have it anymore. So if you're interested, great. If you want the QR code, you can donate online, you can see your donation. It's a cancer that not a lot of people do funding for, because it's not a glamorous cancer that people have, so.
My sister passed away last year.
So, okay.
There's a flyer in Gettysburg. We have one.
There's a flyer up front
Hammer too.
Yeah, you can just hit the QR code right there, or you can come. It's Emily's Toy Box is freaking awesome. They're crazy. People love them, and we're having special drinks that they're going to donate 10% of the proceeds. Special dinner
Orange crush
option, orange crushes, and what's your creamsicle, and then the beer is something called summer lawn darts or something like that. It's going to be an event. I actually have somebody from the organization coming to represent the organization.
What's the date?
Saturday. Yeah. But you can, like I said, you can do the QR code and donate online. You can either do it anonymously and put your name in. And then in the spring, you may go to a country music band. I might try to get Sugar. Well, we're gonna have one we're gonna have one on his birthday, May 19th in the spring. We're gonna have the same event at the public house.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, we're gonna do the mastermind. While you guys are here, right?
Yes.
Welcome our panel.
Okay, I got you the call. Out of my height? Yes. She needs.
Well, we're just gonna look really small next to me.
Long for thing. Sick of the pictures are, Dave, you down to the very.
Hey, guys, so I have some questions laid out for, some of you know, some of you may not. We'll go through them. Let's give you if you guys have any questions for them, we will have an open Q&A afterwards, because again, I want you guys to learn from them. They had really great years this year. This is part of our top 20%, and they all kind of come in different ways. Maria's been with, as a realtor for, we'll do it. They've had,
Maria trained me.
yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
Your man team and Kate's just crushing it on her own, so. Let's start with introductions. Kate, we'll start with you.
Curious.
All right, we'll go with Maria. So just tell us how long you've been doing it, how you got to Keller Williams, what you love about Keller Williams, you gotta do that plug. And let's talk about yourself.
So I've been in real estate for some years, so I've suffered through several different markets, including, so when I first got into real estate, it was really a robust market. Like it was kind of the 2021, 2022 market where buyers were like clamoring to buy homes. The only difference was we had no lead generation, we had nothing, we had no email. We had to actually hand deliver contracts to consider it ratified. So there would be time. Geez, yeah. Yeah. So we could use facts, but half the times the facts didn't go through. You didn't know if they went through. So, and they were really unclear. So we would actually, like sometimes 10 o'clock at night, I'd be running to the Hanover office to put it in the Dropbox because that was considered delivery. And then the contract was considered ratified. So like, I know I'm talking, I'm going back.
Reminiscent.
Yeah, but I just wanted to let you know that I've been through several markets, and the one market that was really a challenging market was when 2008 hit, and I think a lot of us, Ryan, you were here in 2008, right?
Yeah.
And you were, yeah. So
I was 11.
yeah. So I actually have notes because I'm old. So there were a couple sellers markets too that
Hey, Maria, I was gonna, are you answering the questions?
no.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was just gonna introduction.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to, yeah, I'm not actually answering any question, any of those questions, except I did want to give you some advice on how to be successful in this market, because, I feel that everybody should make an effort to come into the office because you are full-time realtors, okay? And you should look at this as a full-time job, So I always think that it's best to come into the office, because I think Ryan touched on this about training. When you come into the office, and like a lot of people say, well, I don't like to come into the office because I socialize too much. But just keep in mind that you're dealing with all realtors. So when you're socializing, you're probably talking about a transaction. You're probably talking about a deadbeat lender. You might be talking about how an inspection went bad and, you had to get your buyers out of the deal. So it's on the job training. So I just feel like that's a really critical piece for, to keep your momentum going. I'm also a big proponent of open houses, and I know we don't have a whole lot of inventory, but things are starting to sit on the market a little bit longer now. So I feel that, but you need to know how to handle an open house. You don't just go to an open house and put your time in. When you go to an open house, you need to be able to capture buyers and sellers. Okay, so that's another whole training process. So if you want to move on to something else. I could go on forever. I used to
You can dive
train.
into some of that stuff, because I think there's some questions here that I think you could elaborate on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, I'm Dave Monsoor. I started real estate in 2006. Things were pretty good like now, but I was new, and so I didn't tell anything. And then 2007 and 8 happened, so I learned in probably the hardest there was, except for now, I think we're in a similar place now, just the reverse. So
I'll let Jeremy introduce himself. We'll be digging into stuff later.
I'm Jeremy. I've been doing real estate for 5 years, and I was drawn to Keller Williams mainly because of the culture. Most offices that I visited was very, I hate to use the word, but cutthroat, right? Like you have to look over your shoulder. Nobody wants to, reach out and offer a helping hand. And here that just wasn't the case. I mean, everybody's here to help each other. So that's what drew me to Keller Williams.
Thanks for training.
I'm Kate Brocious. I also started in 2018.
Hi, how are you? Do you like join our team and help? Yeah,
Why I came from the brokerage I was at, I came to this brokerage because I really was.
This is Maria's show, not Phil.
I'm not saying anything. I didn't do anything. I stuttered. You mean?
Go ahead, Maria.
Did that bother him?
It's, it's getting older and I wanted some support. Like I wanted to either have a partner or a buyer's agent or, have a team. And I was with another brokerage, Berkshire Hathaway. And I asked my manager how I could start, what I could do to actually start a team because they didn't really condone teams. They wanted everybody to be individual realtors because, they had deep pockets and they were getting profit out of individual agents. So as it turned out, they sent me a webinar, to follow, to develop a team. And I'm like, really? Like, I'm the worst person to a webinar to. So at the time, I was really friends with Mindy. And Mindy, we traveled together. And Mindy said, why don't you just come to Keller Williams? Like, we already have a team. And it was Mindy and Rhonda. And so that was the start of me. So I kind of left Berkshire Hathaway, during the night. Yeah, during the night. Rhonda's husband brought her truck out there and we unloaded everything into the truck and then showed up here. And then showed up here the next morning. So that's how I escaped.
It's kind of common, leaving in the middle of the night is,
Yeah.
it's people do it.
Well, because if you actually quit, they would escort you
You're the
out.
walk of shame.
Exactly, they would escort you out.
All right, so Maria, we'll start back with you. First question, we're kind of started with a high note, so 2023 is ending. What would you say was your biggest accomplishment? Now, you run a team with your son, so Phil, for anybody that doesn't know. So, what would you guys say your biggest accomplishment was this year? Because it was a very different year, so how did you guys?
Bill could probably answer the technology piece of that because, but I can tell you that the biggest accomplishment that I've had for the last probably 5 years is that 100% of my business is repeat referral business. That's where you want to be because I don't cold call. They call me, and which is really, it sounds like I'm bragging, but it is. That's where you want to be in this business. You want to be to the point where your clients are reaching out to you. So Phil, you can tell them about.
I'm not in this. I'm
tracking of calls to conversations to close. I wrote that down. And then how to track lead sources with the likelihood of them picking up the phone. So he felt like that was a big accomplishment for us this year.
Tracking your data.
Yeah.
How to be successful. Dave, how about your accomplishments this year in 23? You also have a team. So.
I do have a team. I think pretty much all of them are here, so thanks for coming, guys. So I really think this year was just all about mentality and really just being willing to keep working because there was plenty of times where all of us were tested like, oh God, what's going to happen next month? What's going to happen the month after that? So, and we had some tough, I think at the beginning of the year we had some really tough months. And I think we turned it around. Everyone's numbers are, Jordan's numbers, I think, are up on the year. Dana's getting pretty close despite not working the first 5 months of the year. So
Don't choose to have a social life. That's not my choice. Okay. People like me, okay?
But no, I think that was good. I think it's gonna carry on. We're not done yet with this. I think we've got, now you've got seasonality on top of a already market. So you really have to double down your activities. Don't take off the next 45 days or January, February will be back.
Right.
This is the time of year where most of your competitors are gonna hang it up. Deals will get done. So I think that's gonna be really important.
I said that on the post. I said, what you do today was a January deal, most likely. It's crazy to think about. That's what you're prepping for. Yep. Jeremy, accomplishments this year. What were your wins?
So just going off what Dave said, like month over month, I mean, you're gonna have good months and bad months, right? Like the team is gonna have trials and tribulations, but one thing that we try to focus on is like, I want to know what each agent's goal is. Like, what's your goal in business? What's your goal in personal? I judge, the team success based on where they hit their goals, right? And we hit really big on like building wealth, right? So I know that everyone's goal is to some way, shape, or form build wealth. So I personally got to 2 properties. Matt, I think, bought 4 properties, and Adam, to brag about Adam for a minute, put him on the spot. He came and interviewed with me. 3 weeks later, shows up, finished his class in 3 weeks, and tells me that he dropped out of college and quit both his jobs and he's all in real estate. And now that's 21 has 2 investment properties.
I think he should teach a class. Younger generation, they got.
Gary, I was saying earlier, we sound like our parents now, like, I'm worried about this next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. The music's included. Hey, go ahead, right? How about your one?
I would say this has been the first year that I've gone from E to P. So I have. On purpose to purposeful. I know what it means. So I got intentional with my business this year. So I'm an S Corp now. I have an employee. Ran off of a P&L, still working on that. So that would probably be my biggest success this year.
She's so humble, isn't she? Uh-huh.
So
Great. Awesome with this stuff. All right, now go the opposite of it. Maria, what about 2023? What would you say is a failure that you learned from? And you could, this is a hard one to sometimes out with, but these are oftentimes you can get real with this. I mean, we've all hit failures at some point in the last 11 months. And some of the failures are probably very relatable to people in here. I mean, I don't know what it was, but.
I would say that my failure is my CRM, my mailing list. Because I just do not have it together yet after all these years. But what's really interesting is that there are people that I've dealt with years ago that don't have email addresses, and Phil can't get that through his head.
He keeps moving around.
Yeah. I would say personally, that would be my biggest failure, and I keep saying at the end of this year, at the end of next year, at the end of whatever, I keep saying I'm gonna do that, but everybody appreciates. Yeah. So, but I don't know, what do you think is the biggest failure for the team? Phil, he's hiding now.
Phil, your failure?
I'm not in this conversation.
Next.
I mean, flat out, our numbers are down massively. I mean, transparently, probably 160,000 from last year. So that's a big number to make up. And that's market, but I think there's a way to like do the same amount of business, you have to do the more activities, and we didn't do that this year, so. Yes, little short on the numbers, still in profit, like, we're not gonna close tomorrow. But if any of you are feeling bad about your numbers, like, we're all there.
Yeah, I mean, the company's there, so, yeah.
Like, so we were close. What happened to that? At the last meeting, I thought we weren't that far off.
We'll work on it.
Dana did not.
System back. Good, you is. Jeremy, what about your, did you face any and what were they and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, growing too fast, right? Like, growing on too many people too fast and realized that I bit off more than I could chew, and I had to dial that back a little bit and refocus. And along with that, one of the biggest challenges that we're seeing right now is the shift in the market, right? Like, we talk about it over and over again, and we're seeing it. We're seeing the transition from a transaction-based market to a skills-based market happening right now. So we had to really take a look at that and take a step back. We revamped our sales process. We do sales training every day. We study the language of sales. And we hit really hard on that because it's those differences that is going to be the determining factor on whether you make it or not.
Have you found, so I'm seeing this too, so it goes along with that. Have you seen like your listing lead uptick happen? So we have started to get, and I think it's that for that exact reason, people are no longer hiring their cousin that's never done a deal because they know that this market actually requires you to have some skill set. And so our actually lead flow and listings is way up, not so much on the market yet, but in process, just because you can feel it, you can just notice, you don't know the names, they're not in the database. They're looking for someone that's got some skill. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just about building passion. Like we say that we're in a relationship building business. And had a call with a client last week who, at the beginning of the call, said she was just looking. And then it was, she's a year out. And then it was, I have a realtor. And by the time we got to the end of the conversation, it was, hey, when can you come out? I'm going to call my realtor, let them know I'm going in a different direction. And it's just because we, had that conversation. Really, the difference between the skills-based market.
Okay, failures, struggles?
I have two. So the first one would be, I really struggled with loyalty in business relationships and personal relationships this year. And I'm sure anybody who's been in real estate longer than 12 months has somebody who didn't use them or some. It really rocked me this year. But I wouldn't say it was a failure. I would say it caused me to look inward at, what value am I bringing to the table and so on. So that was more of a growing opportunity for me that had to happen. It's like that saying that says, ask God for growth and he gives you, really tough situations that he puts you in. That's how this year has felt with me. And then to piggyback on that, I took on my first rehab this year and it was not profitable. In fact, I lost $40,000. And it was my own personal money.
It was so pretty though.
It was beautiful. Yeah. There were so many bad snowball things, and I think I just had a lot to learn. And I definitely. And if you talked to me 2 months ago and you asked me if I was going to do another one, the answer would have been absolutely not. And some other fragrant language. Today, if you ask me that, yes, I will. I hope to do one again next year. Maybe not such a good.
Just wanted to mention one other thing that I thought that we've been challenged with in 2023. So we've been trying to grow a team and we've been interviewing, and we either, it's just amazing to me, like people don't show up. They don't call you to tell you they're canceling their appointment. They don't have the motivation or, the skill set that we're hoping for. So that has been an ongoing challenge for us for this year.
Yeah, I mean, the positive out of that is that they don't waste any more of your time than that particular day. But yeah, it is a struggle, but weeding out, like, what I think you guys learn, and I think I've been more so with the three of you than Dave, but very involved in your changes throughout the last year. And what I think you've learned is to be more selective. It's like slow to hire, quick to fire mentality.
Yeah.
And that's why it's taking long. But when you find the right people, like I had a team and we had some great agents. Dana was on that.
That's your best agent right there.
Beat up for all this.
Signal me, she gets.
You can take it, go ahead, fire away.
But we also had some challenges. We grew too fast and we didn't have a value proposition out there that met all the agents' needs. We weren't in tune with what they wanted to do as agent and they'll quickly outgrow you. So if you guys are thinking about teams, I highly recommend going to some of the ones that have been established for a couple of years and trying to find out. It's not all glamorous. We don't make money. Actually, you probably, I might owe money. I think I did. Probably still paying.
Profitable business there is as a single agent.
That's right.
Theoretically, I could. The thing is, like, as a single agent, you're very profitable, you don't have any bills, but then when you become a team, you know, the whole benefit of me having a team is I don't have to work every weekend and every evening of every week. At the same time, it's probably about the same in terms of income. Now, I mean, obviously you continue to scale that was better. But the other thing that I was taught, one of my coaches, my first coach had said, it's a privilege to be on your team and don't treat it any other way. Because you can take any random body off the street and grab them and say, you're on my team now. They'll probably say yes, you know, but you're out there to find the best person for your team. You know, Ben and Kenny always teach, like, if that person's not good enough to be on your team and then leave and succeed, you probably don't want them to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, so if the value's there, they'll stay.
All right, keep it going. I know people are probably gonna start getting hungry. We're heading into 2024. Keller Williams is all about goals. What are your goals for 2024? What's your one big thing you hope to accomplish or reset? Maria?
So, in 2024, we're hoping as a team to be able to find maybe one other person that's going to be compatible with our value system and our, you know, they're trainable, basically. So, I would probably say that that would be primary goal because Phil has all the systems in place, you know, so it's just a matter of getting a warm body into the team. So I think that's probably cool.
So our goal is to get back to last year's numbers. So we need to do about probably 35 more transactions. Which, you know, we had a new agent on the team, we had to replace somebody, so we had, you know, we had 23 deals fall off the team last year that we had to replace. That first one was not a good cultural fit for us, so, you know, we're in a better place, so it's kind of like slow down to speed up type of thing. We do need to replace the admin, which has been a very difficult search right now.
I think that's our number one goal right
It sure is, yes. But the interview requests are going out and no one, you know, and that crucial person on your team that probably gets paid the least is the number one most important part of any team. Like, that's the glue. And if you can't find a good person to hold it all together, like statistics won't go.
Admin is like a scary thing. I know everyone jumps out of that model and goes to buyer agent, and then admin. And it's like admin is like the glue, and you get what you pay for. If you're gonna only pay somebody minimum wage, that's what you get. We're gonna get somebody that's just there, just to be there.
They should pay for themselves. You hire everyone else in here at admin, but I mean, when I hired my admin, I think we did like 25 more deals next year. Just not having to do the $10 or probably today $20 an hour activities that you have to do. It's the paperwork, it's ordering signs, it's all the silly stuff. When you take that off your plate, it gives you a lot more time to do income producing activities.
Yeah. Jeremy?
So I want to bring one more agent onto the team, for one. But primarily, so you mentioned earlier about not having a value proposition, having something that can keep people on the team, and we actually just collectively purchased the first investment property, the three of us. And I'm working on figuring out a way to be able to offer something like that to new agents that come on that maybe want to invest in real estate, but they just don't know how, or they don't have the confidence, right? So giving that opportunity to anyone who's on the team to be able to passively invest in real estate that is being, brought to the team as, a collective effort. I think that's going to be a game changer. It's going to be a value proposition. It's going to be retaining people, and it's going to build up.
That's
Going
big.
to educate people.
When I get back, I'm gonna be like, what are we buying?
Thinking about it.
Kate, how about you? I got you looking to do it next year.
I would say, and I'm going to mess it up, what's the 80-20 with KW folk, like the 20%, 80% of your business, you 20% of your efforts. So focus on that. I think when times get slow, people get creative and they want to do these big fancy marketing plans. And for me, I know where my business comes from. I know who my sphere of influence is. Just focus on the basics, the basic.
Yeah, I got a new tagline for you.
Me?
Flourishes. Gotta have that. I guess, again, I said these questions here, so everybody can have something, but this is a very general, open-ended one, but like, take us through your best practices, like, what's a week for you? This is a full-time job, right? Like, we talk about this, it's not a hobby. You kind of, yeah, this is building your career, so. Mike, I know it is a hobby for you. But, take us through, like, what are you guys doing? Like, do you have a set schedule? Do you time block? Like, what are some of the things that you guys do during the week?
So I do not time block, and I probably focus on the crisis of the moment. But I do spend a lot of time socializing. And and the reason I say that is because I have like really good relationships with my clients. And I always have, and a lot of them have become friends. So a lot of my work week, I take, a client to breakfast or to lunch or to happy hour, happy hours are the funnest. So I do focus a lot on that because I feel like I'm always going to be top of mind. Not that that's my, I do like clients as well, not that I just want to be top of mind all the time, but it definitely does help that, that's my focus. So, yeah.
I saw the result of you keeping in touch with your clients, and that was at your client appreciation. You guys had a big turnout, and that's huge. So Marie is 100% referral because she stays in contact with her people. That's one of the biggest takeaways today, is that you need to stay in contact with your raving fans, people that if they saw you at the grocery store, hey, Tina, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while, like that kind of stuff. Everyone chases people they don't know. That's the hardest relationship to build. Yep. Dave, go ahead. Not you, sorry.
Big question.
Dave. I don't have a specific calendar time block, but I'm at the office by 8 or 8:15 every morning. I do my follow-up. I'm not a super active lead gen person anymore. We get about 60% of our business as repeat business. And then most of the new business is worked by these guys, but yeah, so I'll usually work in the office till 11:30. I do my appointments in the afternoon, and the benefit of having the team is I don't have a lot of evening appointments during the week anymore. And that's why I do that.
Jeremy?
So we all get to make our own schedules. But for us, to make it very clear that if you're going to be on this team from 8:30 to 11, you're an employee. So Monday through Friday, we're here at 8:30. We typically role play 8:30 to 9, and then 9 to 11, or 10:35. We usually all. And we do that every day, Monday through Friday. And we don't let anything get in the way of that. There's no checking on your pending deals. There's no following up with this person or that person. It's just strictly for new business generation. And then we report out at the end, we dial from the conversation. We do that every day. And then on Friday, we do lead audits where I look at the pipeline. Hey, when was the last time you talked to this person? What are they doing? Where are they at in the process? And just doing that just keeps everybody on the same page. And I think a big part of that too is having morning routines, because getting up and coming into the office is one challenge in itself. But if you don't expect something like a routine, yeah, I'm here about 8 o'clock. And if you don't have like a specific morning routine, then it's going to be even that much more challenging for you. Just coming into the office and being here, it doesn't matter if you have anything to do here, just being here is going to set you up because you're surrounded by people that like, it's not, if your phone rings and you're out on the golf course, say, hey, I'm busy, let me call you back. You're already here, you can handle it right away. So that's a big thing, being present and just having a morning routine and sticking through that.
What percentage of your business is not repeat, right? Because you were 2018 started.
Yeah.
So note that because the activities that they're doing, that actively prospecting, we kind of get a pass after 17 or 20 years. There's a lot of free business in the system. So because of interest rates, they have a ton of people that are trapped. And so you have to work extra hard for, it's probably gonna take them 8 or 9 years to get the repeat business, the trade ups that we get because of the 3.5% rates, all their past businesses tracked in. So if you're new, there's all this room is really new. It takes a lot more outbound effort than some of us are lucky not to have to do as much of at this point. So, good on you guys for that.
So I don't do any of that.
This is cool. That's incredible. That's the model. That's the model.
It is the plan.
Yes. Yes.
So back when I got started, it was the same thing, tracking the 4 combos, immersing myself inside a little office with no windows and 2 hyper competitive women who were top performers at that time. And it was just every day. When it was November 18th and I started full time and never looked back. Started stuffing envelopes. I started reaching out to everybody in the database. I just stuck to my database. And Ryan will tell you, I was like, oh, I want realtor.com leads. Come on, that's why my business is.
Not to mention, she just had a baby and was doing all this.
We had a lot of headlines back then. Got through it. All right, last question, and then we're gonna kind of move to everybody. And I want this one, I designed this one specifically for the newer agents and agents that might just be like low in production and contemplating what they want to do. So one piece of advice that you can offer to all the newer agents to make their first year successful.
So my advice would be to make sure that you have a relationship with business, not just a transaction with business. Because what happens with the transaction, you work with a buyer or you work with a seller, and as soon as you get them under contract, you pass that on to the transaction manager, and you do not build a relationship with that client. So my focus would always be to make sure that you have a relationship with all of your clients. That's going to guarantee you the repeat business.
Gene Rivers said in Business Plan Clinic, create an experience. It's about the experience. If at the end of it, they're one of your raving fans, you created a great experience that will probably create future business for yourself.
One of the things that I do, so if I see something on Facebook or if I hear something on the news or whatever, and it reminds me of like a past client, I'll text them and say, hey, I just saw this on Facebook, or I just saw this on the news, or it reminded me of you. And then it could be like an inside joke or something like that. So it like keeps me in touch with that, so I just feel like relationship is the way to go.
2 things. One, pick up the phone. Texts are great, but you will have much better results if you actually call people, especially the young people. Everybody wants to text, but I like texting too. I hate having conversations. But or we should work in the business where those are important, so. Definitely pick up the phone more than you think, probably should follow up two times as often as you are now. The other thing too is, I know James is building out PC, you could be 5 years in business, if you're not doing any deals, you can sign up, it doesn't mean you have to be 1 year in, because accountability is probably the number one thing for, whether it's for us, we all coach, so. Now, if someone outside the forest looking at your business from a different perspective, and so, whether it's James coaching or you're on a team, you've got someone that's looking at your business from a different perspective, so you need that, so, connect with somebody to, whether it's just a mentor for free or a coach, whatever you want to do, but that's an important relationship to have.
That's great. I like that. I'm gonna go off of that thing. Go ahead, Jay.
We talked about it already, really just treating it like a job, like treat this like it's your job, treat it like it's a 9 to 5. Like if you had a job where you were clocking in every day, you can't wake up in the morning and say, do I feel like going into work today? Do I feel like going to the office today? Like if we can't do it for a 9 to 5, then we shouldn't do it here. Just having a morning routine that can get you to the office and be present. Don't fall into the trap of, well, I don't have anything, I have to go to the office today, so I'm not gonna go ahead. Or I don't have any appointments today, so I'm just gonna take the day off, right? Like, I did that for a little bit. I mean, it's a very slippery slope, and what you're gonna find is a dry pipeline, and then 2 months to have to go back up. So just treating it like it's a job. There's so much that you can do. Like if you're here and you don't have anything to do, there's trainings galore. You can pick up the phone and make phone calls. You can text message. You can go out to lunch with a lender, go out to lunch with a title company. Like this is a relationship building business. So if we're not out on appointments or talking to clients, let's build more relationships.
Hey.
So I'll piggyback off of what Dave said, and you taught me this years ago, is as soon as there's a problem, pick up the phone. So I started doing that a couple years ago, but it's like, as soon as I get a text where it's like, are they upset with me? I just pick it up, take out the context of whatever you may or may not think is going on, and then the other one would be show up. Like Dave and I were talking yesterday about the amount of opportunities over the past few years that have just fallen in our lap because we've shown up, we've been present, we've been here, we've been engaged. It's really like that. So it's like the karma of real estate, quite honestly.
So thank you. To wrap it up, and then we'll do Q&As real quick. I heard a couple of really big things. So accountability was a big word. We all need it in some way. These 4 have coaches. I'm a coach, most of us do. Because when you reach a point, someone's got to keep pushing you. The coach is paid to do that. Like you don't ever want to become complacent in this business. You probably saw I posted some post yesterday that I dealt with buyers. My God, does he still do real estate? Yes, I do. But no one knows that because I don't share it and talk about it. And that now when you have social media at your tip of your fingers, you got to use that. For the coach was big. Accountability. I love Jeremy's discipline on his schedule. That was something that we always did as a team. We tracked our numbers, we had data, we knew where we had to be better, whether it was making the phone calls, which is usually always where it is, or what was the conversation, how do you get the appointments? You got to create that in your daily life and treat it as your job. We have the ability to make ridiculous money. Sitting on this panel right now is over $100 million in sales volume, which is $3 million in gross commissions. It's crazy. Right here. It's right here. So it's possible to make a lot of money in this business, but if you don't treat it like a 9 to 5, it doesn't. I don't care what it is, but if you're not putting 20 hours a weekend, but you're really putting 100% of the effort into your business. So
Can I just
yeah, absolutely.
keep thinking. So I really feel that especially new agents should focus on training. So the KW offers us all kinds of training, okay, free training. You should be always honing your skills, because you can take training from, Bright MLS training. if you're doing continuing ed, but that doesn't mean you just should take the required amount. You could take anything. You could take any classes from continuing ed. You can go to James's trainings. I really feel that if you glean one item from a training, even if you're a seasoned agent, then it was worth it for you to take that training. So never think that you know it all or you know everything about the business, because believe me, I always say that you learn 5 new things in real estate every week, even when you're a seasoned agent, and you probably learn them all the hard way. So, I feel like a training is a really, valuable asset to especially newer agents, but continue as seasoned agents.
I think between Zoom and then here, we have 50 people. We have 185 agents. So where are the other 135? Hopefully working, probably not. So to Maria's point, we're gonna have a lot of training. We're going into a shifting market. We gotta continue to pour into you guys. I want to hear what you want to learn about. And I know it's like, oh, sitting in a classroom, it feels like school again. All you have to do is take one thing out of that training and implement it as your business. I guarantee you get at least one thing that you can help build your business. Become a success. Great. If you go in with an open and positive mindset, you'll get something out of it. The biggest thing I hear from big agents is excuses. It's always an excuse about why they can't go, why they can't do this. You're here, like this is your job. No one wants to go back to a real hourly rate job where you're making X amount every week, no matter if you put in 120% or you put in 60%, making the same thing.
Most of us would get fired because we're used to working for ourselves.
Right. Yeah, you won't even, that's a different one. So, Q&As for these guys, let's do some takeaways. Let's get a couple takeaways. It's been. I can't even read that. Oh my God.
No, I just saw about the QR.
Or I think we should open a successful open. We want to hear more about the successful open house.
I think it's a successful open house.
Okay. So make sure that when you go to an open house, that you have all of your material that you should have at the open house. But make sure you have sign-in sheets and don't just hand an MLS sheet to the visitors of your open house and say, here you go, here's all the information about the house, take a walk through it. Let me know if you have any questions. That's a perfect opportunity to establish rapport, okay, with the visitors to your open house. I mean, I have a whole training. But
we've done trainings, we'll do more.
Great.
My biggest thing when we were doing the team was also all open house signs out by Thursday. Take at least 25 flyers, door knock at least 25 neighbors, let them know about their open house. And then leverage that as much as possible. And then what are you doing with the numbers afterwards? Most of us don't do it.
Hey, Maria, would you like to do it Monday huddle?
Do it. Yes.
How about ahas? Go ahead. Questions? Ahas. Go ahead. Read. Yep.
As president of our association, the one thing that's popping into my mind here is this, and it's pretty important stuff. When I stated last year that how that we present ourselves is how that we are a direct reflection upon how others see us. I'm sitting here and I see Kate, and Jeremy, and Dave, and my dear cherished friend Maria. They're kind of like the epitome of what I was speaking about. The idea of professionalism when that we present ourselves to our clients and also to our fellow agents only helps us to breed success. I'm having a hell of a rough time right now for 2 reasons. One, because my mind sometimes has to go over to a RAAC. So I can't be as focused as I would like to be. The second thing is I'm having trouble building my team. Finding someone who would be compatible to myself and Bob. And those that I have approached that have said, oh yeah, it sounds fantastic to me. Then all of a sudden they seem to always not follow through.
Welcome to the.
So my question then is this, how do I do that? How can I get out of that rut? One, two, and how can I,
Do you have a value proposition?
do I have what?
Value proposition.
A value proposition?
What do you give them?
What do you give it?
Yeah, well, okay, correct, yes, I do prompt them through my slides and what I will offer of value.
So there's two problems that brokers have. Either they have too many leads, their hair goes fire and they can't manage them, or they don't have leads, right? That's the entire real estate ecosystem in two categories. So either you need to find the one that's really busy and put them into systems where they can be more efficient, or you need to find agents that can handle leads but aren't going to generate. And so if you're looking for them, those are kind of the two things you're looking for. And then from there, whatever your process is, I mean, we do KPAs. They can, like Rachel or whoever is ordering the gear can help you get those, review that. That's a good starting point. It's not the end all because, our Rockstar admin has like a 0.4 score for single agent, but she's phenomenal with clients. So it's not the end all, but it does give you an idea of who you're hiring. And then from there, you just have to figure out what your team's offering that makes you different or special or value, whether it's, tons of leads or tons of support. That would be kind of where I would start.
Reed, I can help you with all that if you want to set up a team. Anybody else? What are some takeaways? Go ahead, Ben.
I feel like the aha moment I have, and I'm not a top producer like these guys, but
Yeah.
I'm here and I picked their brains, and I would pick Dave's brain more if he was here, but I'm excited to work on the ALC with him this year. But like I was a brand new agent not that long ago. So if you're in the PC program, I had my own version of that, just it wasn't James or Keller Williams, Bill. And then I went into, which was probably a little bit more hard ass than James, but I had to have like real moments with myself, because when I first started, I'm like, 9:30, that's early as hell. I don't want to be in it, meeting at 9:30. But I tell you this, because in 2018 was the first year I got licensed, and I didn't really do that much. I sold 2 houses. So the people that are in the PC program killing it in 3 weeks selling 2 houses puts my ass to shame. But like Phil and Firestone and everyone I knew at True Advantage left in 2019. So I had to show up. I didn't have any other choice. So now 2019 ends and I don't want to be there anymore. So I want to go out on my own. So I do. And I go to Coldwell Banker, and I had no leads. I had nothing. I was just reaching out to my sphere. And to this day, I don't buy leads now. I only work with my sphere. And I think right now I'm at like 4 million or something like that for the year, while I'm dying also. But I show up, and that's the most important thing. And that's what Kate and I were talking about. And that's what Jeremy and I talk about. And I've seen it with Maria. Like, if I can show up and I lose 3 days out of the week.
Analysis 3 days.
Yeah. So if I can show up, I don't give a shit what anyone else has to say. There's no reason why you can't show up, and not just come into the office, but I'm talking about networking events, because our job, like Maria said, is indeed networking. The more people you know, the more deals you're going to get. It's just that simple. So Facebook, social media, everything like that is what you guys need to be hitting in these times where everyone's afraid they're not going to get a deal. They're out there, but you have to take advantage of, first of all, the free ones, especially for the new agents. Take advantage of them, and the past 3 years, I've been a 6-figure agent. I know that. And the only reason is because I show up. That's it. That's literally the only reason. I don't lead gen. I
I'll
don't,
piggyback that too, because when I first got in the business, though, but seriously, I mean, I'm not gonna name it, but someone told me 80% of the battle was showing up. It's true, because I mean, I've been doing this 10 years, and this last year I haven't showed up that much compared to other years, and I'm down big time because of it. Showing up is huge. Action breeds action. Another thing when I was new is you gotta find this person, but I would just sit and listen to agents that would sell unbelievable amount of real estate, just listen to the conversations they would have. I would be in the office, literally staring at a blank computer, just listening to them talk. Phil was one of them. Another guy, you might know, his name's Zach Kleindes. I would just listen to him talk all day to leads. What's he saying on the phone that makes him make $500,000 at 26 years old? Because that is very important to me. And I've gotten away from it, but that was the one thing. Honestly, I learned more from just listening to these two people talk, selling 100, 200 homes a year between the two of them, just having the conversations they were having, because that made me learn more than anything at, you know what I mean? Even sitting in a classroom, not taking away from what Rhea said, but like listening to those conversations is very fucking important.
And it worked because what Zach went to Florida, did the same activities and.
Now he's selling $6 million house. Yeah, and he's still doing stuff up here. And saying the right thing on the phone when you do with that person.
And that comes with practice. You said, what we repeat. It sounds crazy. It's like uncomfortable. You gotta live within the uncomfortable area to make yourself better. I'm doing an 8-week, team leader script role play at 7:30 in the morning on Tuesdays. When I was up, I was gonna throw up for like 3 hours and I didn't sleep. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? But it's great. So now we're going into week 8 and I'm much better than I was 8 weeks ago because I stepped outside of my comfort zone. At 16 years in the real estate world, like I'm still trying to do that and challenge myself. And then you'll get out of that rut. I was in a bad rut. Like you said, you're in a rut. You're gonna find yourself in that. This place, this industry will burn you out. But you gotta challenge yourself from doing things. Comfortable, thrive through it, learn and implement. Anything else for these guys? Go ahead, Phil.
I mean,
Oh,
the
God, Phil.
theme here is to go up, I think that's one of the big things we're talking
There's a
about.
lot of.
And like,
But yeah, I think.
yeah, what Jeremy said, about working 40 hours a week like it's your job. I mean, literally, if you gotta show up, you work this job like it's your job, you're gonna sell houses. You know, it may not be 100 houses your first year, it might be 2 homes a month, but that's a really successful business, especially with the structure we have here. And yeah, we gotta just kill the work from home culture. Like that doesn't exist in real estate, in my opinion.
Some people can do it. I'm not gonna discount that, but I can't.
Yeah, it's just,
I'm blowing out this cubicle that I'm doing more of an open workspace, so. We're gonna create a more comfortable environment, more welcoming environment for you guys to visit. And to do that kind of stuff.
like when your friend is selling houses next to you and you're there every day, and you're not selling a house, like that's gonna motivate you.
Great comment.
You know,
You wanna wrap it up the next week?
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take this time to plug the ALC right now, because we have a very great group of people on the ALC this year, I think.
We'll announce all that.
Yeah, and but I think that like as agents, whether you produce or you don't, like there's a group of people that do produce that are taking their time to sit down and organize events, and the events are so important that people get there because we work with Keller Williams, and that's the most important thing too, is that like during the tough times, the name Keller Williams is going to get you business over other names because it's so recognized.
Yeah.
So during this slow time, like when there's events, show up, show up and network with the other agents, because if there's a list of properties that someone has and you might have a buyer and maybe they're not on the market yet, maybe they're not on the market until the spring, maybe deals can happen by networking early, but like we need to get Keller Williams so recognized that people feel like they're missing out by not being here. And that's what we're going to try to do with the ALC. And we need everybody to help us with that, whether you're on the ALC or not, we need you to come out. We're doing it for you.
Who here has been with another brokerage? 60% of you right now. Have you ever been with a company that did training and wealth building? Were any of those companies like that? Take advantage of it, because you talk about what Jeremy's doing with his team, but Kate's created an opportunity to flipping, like, we teach wealth building here. I said this at ALC and in front of 400 people. Don't die a real estate agent, retire a real estate agent. I see obituaries come through every week, and I know they were doing deals last week. It's crazy to me, like build wealth, take advantage of what we're providing you. Learn from others. I mean, they're all doing it, and we try to, and if we don't have something that you want to know about, tell me, I'll get it in, like, we'll teach you. So that's one big thing. Could everyone take value from this panel? Yeah.
Yes.
I like that we went an hour over, because that means we're having conversation. Do we want to create more mastermind opportunities in 2024 that's more just mastermind related
Yes.
with our people? And then we'll rotate it out. We'll have like different things. Like I like to do a new agent, the first year camp. Like, what did you learn? Like, same type of thing. So won't only make it top producers. We'll do teams, solo agents, new agents, like everything. Any other questions before we wrap up? Let you go 8 miles. I guess we gotta do giveaways. Yeah. Thank you. We should try with
It takes the sound, the sound. I'm actually popping the hell out of it. It hurts. Yeah, sure.
Jordan.
Look. Listen.
Never. I used to put more than one card.
So here's what the giveaways are. I have $50 gift card receipts, 2 of them. You get only one.
You're probably.
John Maxwell ticket for the January 25th.
Probably.
That was for one. Maybe I'll do another one.
You want one?
Oh, my deal. You want to, we can pick the John Maxwell this, transaction fee, monthly fee, little embroidered blankets.
Come on, Rob.
Take hold.
You know what to do. You know what to do. Nope.
Milestones.
Hey, holy shit. 295 fee card, monthly fee. Blanket.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Giant. 3 monthly. Office, eat this.
Diane and Miller.
What's on the line?
$50 bench even there. Yeah, let me get you. Put on my couch.
Garrison. Oh.
They are.